Everyone, here's a picture that was sent in from, and this
Angie, this was actually sent in from Angie Wyatt. She sent it to my Facebook page.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and she was showing where lightning struck her house during storms over the weekend. This happened in Clanton, and as you can see, it likely hit the ground. And Tania, that picture, if you zoom in, it looks like it might have hit a water main, and even the roots were actually blown out of the ground there, as you can see.
Man, and that's exactly why we tell everyone that it's so dangerous to be outside during a storm in general, because lightning, those currents can travel to the ground and strike you even if you're just a couple of feet away from it.
Yeah, we have a loud rumble of thunder. We have the alert, right? Mother Nature's first alert. But right now, I want to show you some views out there, and the sky has been very overcast across the area. 80 degrees right now, as you can see from Pinnacle Motorsports in Bessemer. And what we've been seeing across the area is just a lot of clouds today. I got out there earlier today. It was a perfect morning. Get a walk in. It wasn't too hot, more milder feel because of this cloud cover. But these temperatures have made a nice little recovery up to 86 right now. But this is what we're dealing with across most locations right now. Just a lot of clouds. We're not seeing a lot of rain at this time. But when we go to radar, we did have some storms that bubbled up across Shelby County, and this has been the more favorable zone areas to the south, but those storms have since weakened. Notice it's down to 76 there where that storm popped up. But notice to the west here, you can see scattered showers and storms over into Mississippi, and those showers and storms will be moving into our area possibly late tonight and even after midnight. We could have some rumbles of thunder, so it's not just a daytime thing here. We're in this unsettled pattern where we could actually have some rain and storms overnight. But around Wilsonville, still some leftover rain. I want to show you this, and this shows the soil moisture across the state, and you can see where a lot of that rain's been happening. Whether you need to water the plants, you can see to the north and west where it is drier, Fayette, Jasper, Coleman, over towards Hamilton. Well, we take this into tomorrow, and you can see why one of the next big things we're talking about is more of these scattered showers and storms that could improve during the day tomorrow. You can see we may not need to water because of a better chance for some showers in some of those areas. But Tania's coming up to talk a lot more about the gardening forecast. Here's the weather headlines, and what's next is, well, this stormy pattern continuing. We're talking about a 70% chance for scattered showers and storms, and we're going to be talking about that scattered coverage as we go into the next several days, and even the possibility of some overnight rumbles across our area as we move ahead. But right now, check out this stunning flood video that was sent in by a viewer in Calera, and it absolutely poured yesterday. This is in the Merriweather neighborhood and happened after storms moved through the area over the weekend, and it was absolutely pouring there. There was actually some video here. You could see that water just rushing by. As we always say, turn around, don't drown. And the same scene happening across Dallas, Texas this morning. Heavy rain causing flooding and cars being stranded on Interstate and 635 in the city of Garland. 3 westbound lanes were blocked due to the flooding, and of course it's been like that across our area. We've had that much rain in some locations, and for some locations not as much rainfall. But this leads into an important topic about flooding safety, especially as we continue to see rain throughout the week. And right now, meteorologist Tania Michelle standing by with some flood safety tips. As we say, Tania, turn around, don't try it.
Yes, turn around, don't drown is what we like to tell everyone, because it doesn't take much water before it can easily sweep you away. About 6 inches of water is all it takes to sweep away a person, 12 inches for a car or an SUV, and only 18 inches to sweep away large vehicles. So, like I said, it doesn't take much water to accumulate on those roadways after a strong storm and some torrential downpours to be dangerous to you as you're out on those roadways. So you want to make sure that you're being safe. There's also differences between a flood watch and a flood warning. As you can see here on the screen, a flood watch means that conditions are favorable for potential flooding and you need to be prepared. But if you see a flood warning, or a flash flood warning in more particular, that means that there is flooding occurring. So you need to get off those roadways and, of course, turn around, don't drown. There's also ways you can prepare your home for the floods that could possibly happen from a stronger storm bringing some heavy rain. Number Number one, you want to make sure you know your risk. Are you in a floodplain? Number two, you want to check your insurance for coverage of flooding. Number three, you want to clear those storm drains of any loose debris. And number four, you want to make sure you charge those electronic devices so that you have a way to contact family members or friends in case you need some help. And another thing that we want to keep in mind is that when we don't get a lot of rain, that means you need to water those plants. Here's a look at that gardening forecast. The best time to tend to your garden tomorrow morning and to avoid the wet weather is going to be earlier in the day. We'll watch increasing rain and storm chances like Wes was just talking about as we approach the afternoon and evening. It's those summertime pop-up showers and storms. So please, if you want to avoid the rain, do it earlier in the day, and there will be some breaks on and off throughout the afternoon and evening, but that's the greatest chance to avoid any of that wet weather. And of course, you always want to make sure you're being safe in the event of flooding.
Yeah, from flooding to gardening and now to dusty weather that was happening across the country, taking you across the country now to some of this scenes from Arizona. This was over the weekend after a dust storm moved through that state. This is what it looked like on Sunday. Thankfully, one thing that we don't need to worry about, which it actually looked like that in my front yard a few weeks ago, but it's of course creating some big visibility issues for drivers out there. Power outages also reported due to the storm, and it has just been a mess there, Tania, across parts of the Southwest.
Well, Wes is not the only place dealing with problems. California, 1,500 homes in Riverside have been evacuated due to the hardening fire. The 500-acre blaze started Sunday and is currently 0% contained. The wildfire has destroyed 3 buildings and damaged 4 others. Thankfully, there have been no reported injuries, but those drought conditions and recent heat waves across the West have dried out much of the region and has left for wildfires to quickly spread, as reported by those local officials.
The fire spread was rapid, so getting resources into the areas fast enough would prove challenging because the fire was moving faster than we could catch up initially.
Meanwhile, the Eagle Fire, also in Riverside County, has burned 500 acres, but is 25% contained. Still a long way to go. All evacuation orders have been downgraded to warnings.
All right, Tania, we have the extra on our forecast over the next several days. We've been talking about a 70% chance for rain, but what does that actually mean where you are? We'll break down those rain chances and talk about impacts and weather coming up right here on Weather Extra, so stay with us. Welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. Here's a look at some of the forecast data, and just want to show you this evening the models picking up on some more development areas back to the northwest. I know we haven't seen much today, but around Double Springs and areas in here, still a possibility. As you can see, might get a pop-up shower. Right now things pretty quiet around places like Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Gadsden, Anniston, but notice overnight tonight, that's showing 3 o'clock in the morning. Maybe another one of those setups. We get more of these showers that track east across the area past midnight. So when you look at that rain chance and it shows 70%, just know that there's going to be more favorable locations at times during the day, especially areas to the north and areas to the south. Looks like we might actually catch some breaks there during the morning based on the new data. We take it on into the afternoon, and let's take it to Tuesday around 4 o'clock, and you can see right there the development starts to ramp up again later in the day. It's just been like this off and on, Tania, throughout the weekend. Looks like that pattern is going to continue through the middle of the week.
Oh yes, Wes, and as far as rainfall totals in the next 6 days, this takes us out to Sunday. We can still see close to 2 inches of rainfall accumulation. That's an additional 2 inches from now through Sunday. So lots of rain in store for us. The good news is rain chances start to lessen as we approach later into this week. Wes will have a full look at that 7-day forecast coming up in just a bit, but I also wanted to show you and remind you what you need as you get ready to head out the door. Number one, you're going to want to make sure you have that umbrella, that rain jacket, and also your water bottle so you can stay nice and hydrated. Just because it's raining outside doesn't mean that that counts for your water intake. So stay hydrated, but pack the rain gear so that you can stay as dry as possible. But listen, do you think time travel is real? I wish it was. Some of the top minds says it can happen. Okay. Dan Smith breaks down the concept of time dilation in your moment of science.
Last week, we touched upon E equals mc squared and how Einstein's theory of relativity turned the world of physics upside down. Now we're using that theory to show why the very concept of time may not be what you think it is. The story goes that a teenage Einstein boarded a tram in Switzerland after a day's work and looked up at this intricate clock. The thought consumed him. What would happen if the tram were moving away at the speed of light? Your watch would keep going like nothing happened, but if you look back at the tower, it looks as if the clock freezes and time stops, since the light coming from it is moving at the same speed as the observer. On a larger scale, those twinkling stars at night are giving off light that can technically be a glimpse many years into the past, since it does take a set amount of time to get here. Einstein had a dilemma. Either Newton's laws of motion were wrong, or the speed of light was not constant. He ended up tweaking Newton's theories by saying time has to slow down for light speed to remain constant. Welcome to the mind-bending world of time dilation, and for the second week in a row, do not panic, we're going to walk you through this one. All this formula says is that time is relative, and it's all how you look at it. That dilation calculation takes the time if you were not moving and uses that handy little bit below the line to figure out the fraction of the speed of light you are moving at. It's easier in action. Let's say you're in a spaceship moving at 10% of the speed of light for an entire year. That math works out, so you experience nearly 44 hours less time having passed compared to if you've been stuck on Earth the whole time. How about 99% of the speed of light? 1 year to you would be like 7 years on Earth, like dog years for humans. But wait, there's more. Speed is one factor, gravity can be another. All those sci-fi shows about time slowing down around a black hole have some truth to them, keyword some. A strong enough gravitational field can bend space-time, and NASA says if you put a clock 10 clicks above a black hole with the same mass as our sun, it would take 70 Earth minutes to read a full 60 on the clock. Closer to home, GPS satellites could give you results inaccurate by miles if they did not account for time dilation. Their orbital speed means they have to knock off 7 microseconds a day to make it work, but add 45 microseconds back to account for the pull of Earth's gravity and lack thereof. That gravity also means someone living high in the Rockies all their life is technically older than someone in Toledo, and unless you've spent most of your life upside down, your head is just the tiniest bit older than your feet. Good science fiction is grounded in good, if not downright weird science, and if you have any further questions, well, I hear NASA has email these days. For this week's Moment of Science, I'm Dan Smith.
Good story and information there, but still ahead on Weather Extra, we continue to talk about those chances for rain throughout your week, as well as take you beyond the 7-day and if we'll possibly continue to be in this wet and rainy pattern and if there will be any relief for the heat. Stay tuned. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back.
Well, right now, not a lot of rain showing up on our local radar, as you can see, but we did have some storms as some lightning was detected earlier around Shelby County. Those storms have weakened. Leftover showers south of Marion. These temperatures in the 80s, not too bad actually for July going into this evening. Not too bad if you want to get a walk in after supper time. I'm watching back to the west over into Mississippi. Scattered storms that we are tracking. You can see some development there north of Tupelo. Model data is telling us that all this development back in here, some of this could start to work our way later on tonight. So just giving you that first alert in case the forecast data does pan out. You can see that chance. See right there through the late night, perhaps a shower or storm. And some of this is going to be around for tomorrow morning. Not everybody's going to see rain early in the day. And much like today, there will be some more breaks at times. But this keeps coming in phases, or waves, I should say. We'll have another flare up of scattered storms and showers later in the day tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, we'll probably catch another break. And then it's going to come around again on Wednesday. So it's going to continue. You see that off and on as we go into the next couple of days. But for some of us, you can see more rain, some of us not as much rain. And these totals actually not as impressive as yesterday, but 32 hundredths of an inch from Travis Braden in Columbiana reported. But notice the temperature is 79. Our weather watcher in Oxford, Brandon Still, at last check had 84 with a quarter of an inch of rain. And Pell City, Bobby Rowe there with 8 hundredths of an inch. You can see 81 degrees there from Joseph Williamson over in Talladega. But that 7-day forecast shows temperatures staying in the 80s. That's the one good thing, is at least the AC can catch a break at times here. We're not seeing triple-digit temperatures, at least on this 7-day forecast. Overnight lows, in fact, might actually drop down into the mid to upper 60s there in a couple of areas later on this week. But notice the 70% chance of rain, it stays with us as we go into Thursday and Friday. Saturday and Sunday this weekend, the rain chances start to back off. And the reason for that is that upper level ridge starts to build back in from the east direction. And what that does basically puts a lid on the atmosphere. We have a lot of sinking air, so the rain chances not as robust there for Saturday and especially on Sunday. Afternoon highs upper 80s, closer to 90 degrees to start next week. A 30% chance for a shower there, so certainly trending a little bit drier, which I know for a lot of us today it's been like that. This Monday we just have not seen as much wet weather out there this afternoon, Tania. It's been very isolated, but still looks like above average rain chances. Got to watch the radar closely next few days.
Yeah, absolutely, Wes. This week there's still going to be opportunities for more showers and storms. Yes, today it came a little shyer, but we've still got many days to go throughout this week. But looking beyond the 7-day, as we look at July 28th into the start of your August, oh, can you believe it? We're getting so close to back to school. It came too fast. But here we are looking across the U.S., more below average rainfall for our western states. But notice for the southeastern portion of the nation, that includes us here across central Alabama, above average rainfall. So more wet weather in the days to come. What about those temperatures? July 28th through August 1st, most states across the U.S. really going to be dealing with the heat, above average temperatures. But notice we're going to be right where we usually are at this time of the year, more near average temperatures. Our average at this time of the year is, of course, in the lower 90s. So that's likely what we'll be towards the end of this month and as we kick off August. But as we break down those rain chances, there's definitely still some moisture in the days ahead on the 28th. That's Sunday. Again, the next day on Monday, the 29th, still looking at some moisture across the southeast and parts of Alabama through the 30th as well. Still some wet weather around, and even through the 31st and your August 1st as well. So we could be starting off with some wet weather as we bring in the month of August, and that means go ahead and plan to pack your kids an umbrella and rain jacket as they're getting ready for back to school. But don't go anywhere. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra. We'll have a final check of your weather, and we got to share some of your viewer photos. We'll be right back.
As you know, over the weekend, we had a lot of opportunities for some scattered showers and storms. It's been kind of looking dreary and ominous at times, and we got a lot of great photos sent in from you at home through our WBRC First Alert weather app that I would love to share. And this is one of many pictures that were sent in. This looks like a leading edge of a storm, maybe a shelf cloud. Usually see something like that. That's where you get a little bit of wind, and that's when you get that rain coming on down. This was sent in by Jay Bates. I also have another visual of a shelf cloud. This is in Trussville. That's just the leading edge of the storm. Once again, looks very ominous, looks pretty strong. This was sent in by Mick Phillips, showing that shelf cloud approaching the area. And check out this beauty right here in Raglan. Josh always sends us these amazing photos through the First Alert weather app. You got like a sunset in the distance, you got the leading edge of a storm, and you can even see the rain falling behind that storm. So just a lot to look at and absorb in this particular photo right here. Here's another view. This is from Double Oak Mountain. This is from Lydia Hendricks, showing some of those ominous clouds. Sometimes people will see these little clouds going down to the surface and they're thinking that might be a funnel or a tornado, but there's no wind shear associated with that, so we just call it some scud. So nothing it's pretty harmless, but it does have that ominous, scary look to it. But you definitely see all that rain pushing through the area. We even were able to squeeze out a little bit of a double rainbow here. This is sent in from Barry Hill from Piedmont. This is from Friday evening, showing a little bit of that sunset, a gorgeous view from there. And we even had some stronger storms Sunday, pretty stormy across the southern portion of our area, especially as you go towards Chilton and Clanton, Chilton County into Clanton. This photo was sent in showing maybe what was of lightning struck the bricks. You can see it sort of exploded right here. So I'm sure that was very scary to experience. They were at home. Hopefully everyone was safe when they were inside. Angie Wyatt sent that particular photo in. And of course, these are the scenes we're going to have to deal with as well. Get a lot of rain in a short period of time. You can get flooding. This was in their driveway. Kelsey Cummings sent this in through the First Alert weather app. So this is what we're worried about all week long. So you get a lot of heavy rain, and then you get the ponding, and then eventually you get that standing water. So when you see something like that and you can't see the ground, definitely want to turn around, don't drown, try to avoid that. Here's a beautiful photo here out of Montevallo from yesterday. AJ sent this in. Looks like mammatus clouds, a little bit of those pockets that are showing up in the sky. Sometimes when you see that, it shows a lot of instability, a lot of unstable air. So these are not the most usual cloud forms we would typically see, but we'll see them occasionally, especially in the spring and summer months. And we'll finish off these photos with, of course, a gorgeous sunset at Logan Martin Lake. This picture was sent in by Stan Rich. Thank you so much to everyone submitting these photos. We love to see them. If you got photos or videos, you see that little QR code in the corner of your screen. You can grab your phone, scan it. Just download that app. When you download it, go where it says submit that photo, and just make sure you include where you're from and your name so we can give you that credit. And we'd love to show those kind of beautiful pictures like this right here on Weather Extra.
Stan's photo there, just the icing on the cake.
Oh,
but
yes.
It's important, yeah, location and name, because we love to share those photos. But quite a few views, you see those ominous shelf clouds across the area.
I know we have some really good sky viewers out there, not just viewers of our show, but people that watch the sky. And you guys do such a great job of capturing what exactly the sky is showing you in that moment. And we love to share it.
Yeah, and we'll probably see more clouds like that. And,
Oh, yeah.
and just because you see those real low, ominous looking clouds, what that's caused by is the rain cooled air, and is forcing that warm air to rise, so you get that cloud formation there, and it can look quite suspicious, but doesn't mean tornado necessarily.
Right,
but,
right.
Hey, we're going to update you on those rain and storm chances tonight. Tania will see you at 9, and I'll see you again later this evening at 10.
All right. 2 seconds. We got to also record local news live. Can you talk on my IB? I'm sorry, I can't really hear you. Yes. All right. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to pull this up. Bye. Oh, yeah. Next week's my short week. I work Monday, Tuesday next week. Chicago. NABJ.
And you get to keep your vacation.
Sure do. I'm only using like two. Only using 2 PTO days. I know, it's not bad.
Well, then she's not giving it to you?
She's giving me 2 professional days. And so I'm using Monday, let me see. I'm off the